You're not considered Mexican. Only in America are you considered an American. So what makes us an American?
It's a great question.
And that is what you're going to answer for us.
What's
I know
so interesting, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And this is actually where my Californian upbringing, multi-generational, really, I mean, I can't overstate how much I was steeped in California and its history and sort of the ethos of California in my childhood was very strong. Like, we were Californians. And we vacationed in Tahoe, and we crossed the Cal-Neva line into Incline. We'd be like, oh man, out of California, can't wait to get back. But the thing about California in my childhood was, people are staying now, I know. It was Nevada then. It's now Nevada, but whatever. Anyway, my point is, the thing about California then was even my family, which was really in its own head anyway, like native Californians, to the extent that there are native Californians, but we really felt that way. The whole idea of California was an idea. And like you bought it, I mean, that's why the West was different from what we called back East, where I now live, where people were totally like constipated and caught up in their rituals from the 17th century. You know what I mean? Like, we were about this idea, and if you bought into California, like, come on, you know, you're one of us. Like, all my friends' parents were from like Milwaukee, literally, as you know. There weren't many people at my parents' age who were born in the state. So I bring that set of assumptions to my show, that America is an idea, but in order for it to work, everyone has to buy into the idea. And as I age, I understand the weakness inherent in that system. It can work, but you have to be really thoughtful about it. I mean, countries, you know, this idea, and I took an enormous amount of criticism for saying it, but this slogan that everyone throws out, diversity is our strength, is a lie. And it doesn't mean, by the way, let me just say, diversity is neither good nor bad. I'm not against diversity. I'm not for it. It's a state that's neutral, morally, but it's definitely not our strength. Is that true in your marriage? The less you have in common with your wife, the closer you are? Are you super close if you don't share a common language? Is it true in your company? Like, no one can agree on what we're supposed to be doing, therefore we're really successful? Is it true in a military unit? It's insane, actually. And so, again, that's not an argument against diversity. I'm not against it. It's just a reminder that if you want to have a country that's cohesive, that doesn't fall apart and wind up at war with itself, you need to find a unifying belief that everyone buys into and new arrivals are required to buy into. And I think the Bill of Rights is a good place to start. And so if you bring people over, and the next thing you know, they're like, I don't think we need freedom of speech in this country now. And I've interviewed 1 million people who've been here about 20 minutes who are lecturing me about why freedom of speech is like immoral. Oh, 100%, 100%. That when the imperatives of diversity and freedom of expression collide, diversity wins, like literally. Those are the segments where I have trouble keeping my temper, because, if it's just such an outrage prima facie that someone would show up in your country and start lecturing you about your ancient traditions and telling you they're immoral. First of all, that's just offensive. But more to the point, it's a threat to our existence as a cohesive country. We need, and by the way, this is the job of the ruling class. Like, if you're in charge of a family, as I am, then you need to figure out there's 6 of us. What do we all believe? Like, what are our traditions? Like, what are we about? What does it mean to be one of my kids? And every Christmas day, we go to a Chinese restaurant in downtown DC, even though we're Protestant, everyone else is Jewish or Chinese, but we go, and that's what we do. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it means to be one of my kids. You go to Tony Chang's Mongolian barbecue every Christmas day. And that's a decision I made as the head of my family. Do you see what I'm saying? And my kids are like, what does it mean to be one of the Carlson children? Well, we go to Tony Chang's or like the 9, you know what I mean? And this is what we believe. That's what leaders do. They set the terms for the group. And our leaders, because they are totally inadequate to the job in front of them, have refused to do that. And what you're getting is something whose consequences we will all suffer, which is disunion. So, I mean, in my tiny role as a cable host of one show, I just want to be a voice to remind people that no, diversity is, it's not bad. It's definitely not our strength. Let's find what our strength is. Ha! Thank you.